So look at this. Musicians on stage, an audience. You almost think things were getting normal. Yeah. So 2 months ago, we didn't think this was going to happen. We went and met with Mr. Remy. Oh geez, it was almost the end of March, and talked about this. I'd measured the stage to see if we could make this happen. And poof, here we are. You're going to hear some songs that we've done kind of throughout the year. It's been interesting. Normally we rehearse sitting where you are. So we'll have one person and a couple empty chairs and another person, and we have an empty row, and they fill up this whole bottom half. Not the greatest way to rehearse. I am extremely proud of them for the literature that they're doing, for how well they're playing under the circumstances that we've gone through. Because when you think about it, there was a 6-month period where they didn't really play their horns. And then they went kind of every other day, kind of. Then we had another 3-month period where they didn't play their horns. Realistically, they should be at about October of a normal year right now, where we are. So they've really done a lot under some pretty harrowing circumstances. I hope you enjoy. Here we go. So this next piece, in the program I talk about it being a flex band arrangement. There are some music composers that made some really good money during COVID, unlike most people. What they did was they took arrangements they'd already done and they rearranged them into 4- and 5-part pieces, meaning part 1 can be clarinets, flutes, oboes, or trumpets. Part 2 can be saxophones, clarinets, flutes, oboes, trumpets, French horns, etc., 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 based on hybrid, for instance, where one day I would have 4 of these clarinets here, and all the trumpets, and all the trombones, and then the next day I might not have any of the trombones, all the flutes, and every single clarinet. But it changed all the time. So they arranged these pieces so that it would work under that kind of a situation to rehearse your group. Like I said, they made a lot of money because those pieces they'd already written, and now they could sell them again under this new format, which really worked in that situation. And we played it, and I thought, well, let's just keep it on. And it's a good example of, you know, what we did and didn't and couldn't during the whole learning process that we've gone through this year. Among all the multitude of disappointments this year, last year, one of my biggest is that I haven't been able to really get to know these guys more on an individual type basis. Normally, we're on 6 or 7 big long bus rides in marching band where I'm sitting next to them, and I really get to know them really well. Multiple trips with the pep band, all that kind of thing. And of course we're masked up and distancing, and I really regret that. It's one of the nicest things about this job is getting to be with, to know, to learn from all of these guys. And I really felt that was, taken away this year. So, one of my regrets, I am, however, pleased with everything they've done. Don't get me wrong about that, because they're super. They're proven they're survivors and that they can really do the do. We will be real short, brief. We'll get them out that way. We'll bring the sophomore band in right after this. This group isn't doing one of those flex band pieces because it was yucky. We did it, we worked on it, clear up until distance learning, and they still had it after that, and it was yucky. We too. So we're doing this one instead. And that was a good choice because it was not good. It was really good on the recording when I listened to it, but I think the recording was the original and not the version when he went into 5 separate parts. So, I pick music for different reasons. The last song, the Dragon song, How to Train Your Dragon, is one that they wanted to do. This one is not one that they really wanted to do, but sometimes you persevere, as we all know, and make it happen. So here's Where the Black Hawk Soars. Before we play this last one, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. It's been a long, well, for these guys, it's been almost a year and a half since they played a live concert. So yeah, an audience is greatly appreciated. You know, this thing that we do, this creature we call band, is so much more than sitting down, playing a few notes, you know. They create wonderful things. The camaraderie that I see that they develop, the friendships, it's really a wonderful, wonderful activity. Keep your kids involved. It's a good activity for them. Keep them playing, keep them doing. If you would have told me last March that this band would be able to play these 3 pieces on a concert in their sophomore year, I would have told you were crazy, you're nuts. There's no way. The improvement in this group, in spite of COVID, is just wonderful. They are, as a band, as a whole, I don't even know how much multiple percentages better than they were at this time last year. It's so much better. I couldn't be more proud of them for what they've done, how they've improved, how hard they've worked, how much they've put up with me, and all of, the Iversisms. But they've been just wonderful, and the improvement has been incredible. I was told by a few people who will remain nameless that they were going to get me, and I'm still worried they might walk out here, a dragon costume to wear during this last piece. No, you didn't order it? I'm safe? Good. I'd have done it. I'm a trooper. You know I'd have done it. No, you don't think so? Yeah. Anyway, thank you for coming. And as always, thank you for supporting music in the Marshall schools. We, as directors in this district, couldn't possibly have this happen without your continual support, your pushing, your prodding, your getting him in a car at all hours of the day and night. Keep doing it, keep pushing. The community is fabulous. I'm so excited to have worked here for 38 years, and I'm sure there's people in the audience that were up here on stage with me when they were this age. I know there are. So yeah, keep supporting music in our schools. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. You can have a seat. For those that don't know, my name is Brian Jones, and I have the honor, excuse me, of being principal at Marshall High School. Yeah, have a seat, guys. And for the last, 22 years, I've had the honor of working with Mr. Ivers. So, just to give you a little history, he didn't tell you this. Marshall High School was established in 1884. That's 133 years when we look at our graduating class this year, the class of 2021. Mr. Ivers is the third band instructor that we've had since that time. Now, I couldn't find records that go back to 1884, so I'm not quite sure what year band in Marshall started, but I will tell you that in the last 70 plus years, Mr. Ivers is only the second band teacher. So like he mentioned, there's several in the audience, I'm sure, who he was their teacher. You've created a legacy. You've inspired and influenced many. You're going to be missed, obviously, but know that the work you've done, the educators you've inspired, your legacy will live on. So thank you very much for the commitment to the kids in Marshall, the families in Marshall, the community of Marshall over the last 38 years, and also the 6 years prior you taught before we were fortunate enough to give you. So 44 years in education certainly is an amazing feat. Thank you for all you've done.
Thank you for coming. What I said to the last band was, this is kind of cool. We've got kids playing instruments on stage and people in the seats, audience. It's like for real. Nice. Yay. This first piece is a flex band arrangement. The guy got one of the few people during COVID that made a lot of money because he took pieces that he'd already written and rescored them for 4 or 5 parts. Now, normally a band arrangement might have 2 flutes, 3 clarinets, bass clarinet, oboe, maybe 2 oboe parts, etc., 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 all the way down the line. This has 5. So there's, like, part 1 can be clarinets, oboes, flutes, mallet players, trumpets. Part 2, those same people, but maybe alto saxes and French horns too. And it goes through so that if you have a band, when we're in hybrid, if you have a band on one day that has 3 flutes, 12 clarinets, a trumpet, you can still make it sound like something. And then the next day you have 12 trumpets, 4 trombones, it was wacky, is what it was. But you can make it sound like something, so when you're rehearsing it, it's not like all these parts are missing, you can fill them. And that's what this is, that's what this flex band thing is. So these things kind of flooded out there because everybody was looking for something that would work in the situation that we were in. So yeah, we tried it, and it's an interesting piece. And I thought, what the heck, we'll just play it. Because, yeah, we decided 2 months ago we weren't going to be able to have a concert. So this is the amount of time where we've actually really put it together. Probably the first week of April. We measured the stage. I got a couple of kids in a tape measure. And we measured to see if we would fit. And that's why percussion are way over there. So if your child is over there, you want to be sitting on this side. And percussion way over there, and vice versa. So we go right to the back wall with all the wind players. If we had another 6 kids, we wouldn't fit. And we'd probably be out in the parking lot tonight. I'd rather be out in the parking lot with 6 more kids, but we'll take it. In your program, I have a little comment about, yeah, I caved. I had some kids that said, we want to do pirates, we want to do pirates. And this was, I don't know, February maybe. Maybe when we came back to distance learning. And we weren't going to have a concert. I thought, what the heck, let's do it. It's fun. Got to do something fun. Keep them engaged. And then we're going to do a concert, and I was like, well, we got to keep doing it. We can't not play pirates. All the drummers wanted to do it. They got mad when I don't rehearse it. So, yeah, and it's fun. So there you go. It's also a little bit challenging, which is nice too. At this time, it has been tradition, last year didn't get to happen. I'd like to have all the seniors stand up and be recognized, please. That means stand up. You know, as rough as it was for the seniors last year, I really feel for these guys. They've had, this year's been a mess. You all know, you're their parents, you've heard about it. And, you know, they persevere and they work hard and they do the do. They would ask me, are we going to have a concert? And I go, well, I hope so. And then they would just keep playing. What more can a guy ask for? You know, they don't know if there's going to be a concert yet. They're still willing to work hard and put in the time. There's no pep band. Can we call it a marching band season? We really can't, can we? You know, we got out on the field and went back and forth a little bit. I mean, all these things that they missed. I was talking with another teacher, and he said, this year, you know, COVID has taken all the fun out of everything we do. And it's really true. They come here, and I holler at them to play and do these things, and all the fun things that we get to do, all the band things, all the things that the freshmen don't even know exist, they missed out on. You know, the fun things were gone. And more importantly, I think they missed out on the fact that this is their chance to really be leaders in all the extra things they get to do, and we didn't get to do the extra things. And they've been super leaders in spite of COVID. But I think of playing in pep band and seeing, you know, a dozen seniors up there just having a great old time, and all these little freshmen watching them. Because they're going to be that person in 4 years. And they get to do that this year. I love you anyway. So, thank you. Before we came out here, I told them I'm not going to be able to get through this. So, bear with me. A few thank yous. I should have written it down and made her read it. A few thank yous. You know, 38 years. There's a lot of people to thank. And I'm not going to keep you here till midnight. But the administration and their support of music, you parents, and your support, great support of music, especially those of you who sat up here or in the other building with me hollering at you all the time, and now your children are up here fighting the same battle. And I can't thank you enough. And there's my family. Who's here? That was a shock. I saw them all yesterday, Mother's Day. And no one told me, and there's no hint, other than my wife said, I need to vacuum up the dog hair now. I'm just getting tired of this. I thought, oh, okay, that's fine. We have 2 hairy dogs. Now I know. And, you gotta say thank you to my wife for being a band director's wife for 44 years, where I spend more time with these guys in the fall than I do with her. Times about 6. And taking care of the kids when I'm off on a bus somewhere, or I'm judging somewhere, and my friend Mike Peterson is here from Fulda, and I can remember I judged the bands down there, and then he brought me down to judge Allstate, and my daughter Megan was about, 3, Mike was from Fulda. And Megan looked at me, and I'm going to leave to go down there and judge again. And she goes, "No more Fulda, Daddy, no more Fulda." And then I left this crying young child with my wife. So, thank you, Marcia. You know, it's been... I can't think of anything that I would rather have done than lived here, worked here, raised my kids, and spent time with these guys and you for the last 38 years. My goodness. I remember Tri-State and going down there, and we were learning the end of the field drill in a park in Laverne before we went on the field my first year here. Some of you lived through that. I think you're in the place. Yeah, we were pretty horrible. We scored 32. 32. And we beat somebody. The first place band only got a 60. So it isn't quite as bad as it sounds. You know, we were the bass drummers went to the photocopy machine and put the clear sheets of plastic through it, you know, like for an overhead, and taped their music onto their bass drums because they didn't know it. But nobody could tell they had it on there because it was clear pieces on their bass drum, but they could read the music. That bad. I wrote the drill. I wrote and arranged the music. There were 2 of us on staff. I wrote the color guard routines. That bad. Yep. And next year we got 3rd. So there you go. It's been a wonderful career, a wonderful place. I'm happy and proud to call Marshall my home. I'm very happy. You can't tell, but I am. Thank you all, and as always, thank you for your support of music in Marshall schools. This last piece, last year during distance learning, I uploaded this piece and I told them they had to listen to it and they had to tell me what they liked about the arrangement, what they didn't like about the arrangement, what they would do different if they were the arranger. A lot of them said, "Oh, it's great, I love it." A lot of them said, "I hate the ending." I mean, there was all these different things. And a whole bunch of them said, "We have to play this next year." Well, some of them said we have to play it in the spring. Well, the spring didn't happen either. So that was kind of the start of this song. And then we started doing it and I didn't like chunks. So I started rearranging. Let's see. We'll use Zoe. Hold this, Zoe. Hold them up for all the pieces you've got. So you've got that one, and this one, and there's another one, and here's another one, and there's another one. Okay? 3 of those I wrote because I didn't like what was there, rearranged. We took the song that was at the end and put it in the middle because we didn't like the ending. I hope you like it. If it weren't COVID, we would do things differently. I was going to stage drums all over out in here and everything. Because I really like making the music part of what you're in it. You become part of the production. And I've done that before in the past. So that was the plan this year, but you can't have performers mixing with you. Even though you're going to take some home in your car. It is what it is. It's COVID. Thanks, everybody. As always, you're the greatest. Thanks, parents, for all you do.
Hi guys, so as you know, Mr. Ivers is retiring, and a couple of us seniors got a bunch of stuff for him, and we had every senior in the band sign it. And I just want to say we're really going to miss you, like really bad, so yeah.
It is written out, so. I've already stand. Thank you. Not that it's that long, but I'm just not sure I can read and hold it at the same time. So, as most of you know, my name is Brian Jones. I'm I have the honor of serving as the principal here at Marshall High School. And I would like to just take a few minutes tonight to recognize the outstanding work of Mr. Ivers, who has just finished conducting his final band concert as the director of bands at Marshall High School. I started to try to do the math today to figure out just how many concerts he has directed, but it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And I've had the good fortune of listening to many of those over the past 22 years, and every time I leave and I feel inspired by what he is able to get our young people to do. So it's been quite a career. As Mr. Ivers mentioned, his family is here, and I would just like to take a moment and recognize them. Daughter Meg, husband Scott, daughter Kate, and husband Matt, son Paul, and wife Jen. Most importantly is Mrs. Ivers, Marshall High School business education teacher. They have a total of 4 grandchildren who they will soon get to spend more time with in the coming weeks, months, and years. So at the conclusion of this year, Mr. Ivers has completed his 44th year of teaching, 38 of those in Marshall. And as the instrumental music teacher and director of the Marshall Tiger Marching Band, which I will add has consistently been one of the top performing field bands in Minnesota and throughout the upper Midwest. Just to give a little perspective, and I'm going to ask the students if they can tell me what year was Marshall High School was established. You see it every day when you walk in, it's right there on the floor. This Marshall High School was 2005, but the original Marshall High School was established in 1884. And this year we will celebrate the 133rd graduating class. Now, since that time, there have only been 3 instrumental band teachers at Marshall High School. And so let that sink in. In the last 70 plus years, we've had 2 band teachers at Marshall High School. And so, by my math, that's an average of 45 years per teacher. And by that, by my math, I really feel like Mr. Ivers just is wrapping up 38 in Marshall, so I think he should stay for another 7 to just stay on track. And I've tried diligently over the last few years to delay this year, but I failed. So just a little bit, Mr. Ivers, as he talked about the students, he talked about his family, he talked about his colleagues, but I'm going to take a moment and just talk about Mr. Ivers. In 2018, the 2018-19 school year, Mr. Ivers was named the Minnesota Music Educators Association Educator of the Year, an honor that is well deserved. His influence extends well beyond Marshall Public Schools and the community of Marshall, and really throughout the entire upper Midwest. For the past 38 years, Mr. Ivers, you've consistently grown the music program, and I've had the good fortune to work with you for the past 22. During that time, I've come to know, understand, expect, and appreciate the opportunities that our comprehensive band program provides for our students. The band routinely consists of around 220 plus members in 4 concert bands, 2 jazz bands, 2 pep bands, and a marching band that averages around 180 students per year. So when you think about that for a moment, that represents about 25% of our school population in one program, which is quite impressive. When you think about the opportunities that Mr. Ivers has created for his students, it's extremely outstanding that he's done that over the past 38 years and sustained the program at such a high level. Under Mr. Ivers' leadership, the school district music programs have flourished and received numerous awards. He is one of the founders of the Pursuit of Excellence, and as the director of the Marshall Tiger Marching Band, the band has become one of the top groups in the upper Midwest, placing in the top of their class throughout Minnesota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Missouri. The marching band has competed 10 times in the Bands of America competitions, and in those 10 times they have placed in the top 5, 8 of those 10, in the top 3, 4 times, and in 2005 the band placed second in Class AA. In 2012 they were the St. Louis Super Regional Class A champion, so they won it that year. In 1995, under Mr. Ivers' leadership, the high school music department was recognized by the state of Minnesota as a program of excellence. In 2005, 13, and 2017, Marshall was selected by the National Association of Music Merchants organization as one of the top 100 communities for music education in the United States. And in 2012, Mr. Ivers was named Minnesota's representative to the School Band and Orchestra magazine's 50 directors who make a difference, and you certainly have continued to do that. Your desire for continuous improvement in your own professional practice, along with your passion for working with the youth in our community, are 2 traits that will always remain with me. You are a teacher leader in our building and in our district, and throughout your career you have found new strategies and teaching techniques to help all students improve. You work diligently with your music colleagues to develop new and better practices to help students become more effective at their skill development. And your desire for improvement has never been isolated to your band students, but for all programs and all grade levels throughout our district. You're a mentor to educators throughout the district and across academic disciplines. Within the marching band program, you've utilized a system to develop leadership. You talked about that earlier. And we've talked, Mr. Ivers and I have talked many times before how that leadership cascades into our school and benefits our entire student body and our entire high school. So thank you for that. Within all of your classes, whether it be your band classes or your music elective classes, you teach students about self-responsibility while teaching them about music and the impact that music has upon their lives. While at times students and sometimes parents have not cared for your honest feedback, I believe it has come from a very genuine place of you wanting to see young people reach their potential that you saw, that you knew was inside of them, even when they did not see it in themselves. So Mr. Ivers, I am grateful for the opportunity to call you a trusted colleague and friend. I feel fortunate to have been able to watch your children grow up and become the next generation of educators. I've learned many lessons from you throughout our time working together. And as you begin the next phase of your life, I know that it will be a new beginning and not an ending. Your passion for the youth of our community, your tireless work ethic, and your love of music education in Marshall will continue as your influence will continue for the next generation of Marshall students. So thank you for all that you've done. Congratulations on an outstanding career and best wishes in your retirement.
I've said everything I can say. Thank you all. Special thank you to my music colleagues, and especially you. Hear why we do this? There is no other reason. Thanks, everybody.